My name is Laura Pierce. I'm 39 years old. My daughter is named Emma. She is 9. She has a gap between her front teeth, a constellation of freckles across her nose, and a habit of tapping her pencil 3 times before she starts writing anything important. She calls her diary my inside voice on paper. For 3 years, she has written in it almost every night. She writes about everything: the argument she had with her best friend over a purple marker, the way the rain sounded on the bus roof, how she felt when a boy in her class said her shoes were babyish, small things that are big when you are 9. Every night before bed, she would sit propped up against her pillows, legs under her, tongue between her teeth, writing. Some nights, she asked me how to spell a word. Some nights she just waved and said, "I'm not ready to read this one to you yet, Mom. It's still cooking." I always answered the same way. "You don't owe me your inside voice. I'm just glad you have a place to put it." That was our rule. The week this story happened, she stopped writing. It was the kind of detail you almost miss. One night she said she was too tired. Another night she said she had nothing to say. By the third night, the notebook was still on her shelf, untouched, and she fell asleep watching videos on my phone instead. "Are you okay?" I asked. "I'm fine," she said too quickly. "Just bored of writing." Emma has never been bored of writing a day in her life. I decided to watch and wait. That's what you do sometimes as a parent. You observe. You collect data. You try not to leap straight into panic. On Friday morning, I was packing her lunch when she came into the kitchen with her backpack half zipped, looking flustered. "Mom, have you seen my diary?" she asked. My stomach tightened. "No," I said carefully. "Did you lose it?" "I think I left it at school," she said. "It's fine." It's stupid anyway. No 9-year-old calls their diary stupid unless someone has made them feel stupid for having one. "What happened at school?" I asked. "Nothing," she said. "I have to go. I'll miss the bus." She kissed my cheek and ran out the door. That day at work I could not focus. My brain kept returning to the image of her diary sitting on her nightstand. Then, not sitting there. Then, maybe sitting in a classroom somewhere. It didn't belong. I told myself I was overreacting. I wasn't. That afternoon, when I unpacked her backpack to throw her lunchbox in the sink, I found it. Her diary. It was crammed in between a math textbook and a crumpled permission slip. The cover was bent. There were fingerprints on the edges. Emma is careful with her things. Extremely careful. She stacks her books by size. She lines up her markers in rainbow order. Seeing the diary jammed in like trash made something in me go cold. I opened it. On the first page, I saw her handwriting filled the lines, loopy, careful letters in purple ink. Over her words, in bright red pen, someone had written little check marks and comments. Good imagery. Nice use of emotion. Could use more details here. And then, in parentheses circled, read aloud in class. There was a date written at the top. It was 3 days ago. I turned the next page. More red pen. Another, we shared this one. Shared? I realized I was breathing too fast. When Emma came into the kitchen, she froze. Her eyes went straight to the diary in my hands. "Why are you reading that?" she whispered. I closed it immediately. "I saw the red pen," I said. "Your teacher wrote in it. Did she ask you if she could?" Emma looked down. Her hands twisted the hem of her t-shirt. "She said we were doing a sharing circle," she said. "She told us to bring our journals on Tuesday. She said we'd pick parts to read out loud." "Did you pick those parts?" I asked. She shook her head. She said mine were good examples. She read them to the class so everyone could hear what real feelings look like in writing. My 9-year-old said this in a flat voice I had never heard from her before. "Did you want her to?" I asked. She swallowed. "Everyone was looking at me," she said. When she read the part about me being scared I'd lose my only friend, some kids laughed. Tyler took a picture of the page. Ms. Robbins told me to stop making that face and be proud because my writing was strong. I felt sick. You didn't tell me, I said quietly. She told us not to go home and make a drama out of it, Emma said. She said our parents wouldn't understand how important it is to be brave with our feelings. There are moments in parenting when you feel an almost physical click inside your chest, the sound of a line being crossed. This was one of those moments. Emma, I said, your feelings are yours. You get to choose who hears them and when. What Ms. Robbins did was wrong. She's the teacher, Emma whispered. She can do whatever she wants. No, I said. She cannot. Hit that like button and subscribe before I tell you what happened when I walked into that school. The next morning, I asked Emma if she wanted to come with me to talk to the principal or stay home with my sister. She chose to stay home. I don't want to see her, she said. That's okay, I told her. You don't have to. I'll go. I took the diary with me. I arrived at the school 15 minutes after drop-off, signed in at the office, and asked to speak to the principal, Mrs. McKay. I had spoken to her before about fundraisers, schedules, the cafeteria menu. She was a competent woman with sensible shoes and a calm voice. She invited me into her office. I sat down. I put the diary on her desk. Something happened in Ms. Robbins' class this week, I said. I need to make sure it never happens again. She looked at the diary. Tell me, she said. I told her. I told her about the red pen, the pages marked read aloud, the comments, the laughter, the photos, the instruction not to make a drama at home. I tried to keep my voice even. I almost succeeded. When I was finished, Mrs. McKay was very, very quiet. Then she said, I was not aware of this assignment. She called it a sharing circle, I said. I call it a violation of privacy. Mrs. McKay nodded slowly. Yes, she said. So do I. She asked me to wait in her office. She left the room, taking the diary with her. I sat in the chair, hands clenched in my lap, staring at the motivational poster on the wall that said, Trust is the foundation of learning. 10 minutes later, the door opened. Ms. Robbins walked in, followed by Mrs. McKay. Ms. Robbins smiled, the tight professional smile of someone who has already decided they are the reasonable one in the room. Mrs. Pierce, she said, I understand you have some concerns about our journaling exercise. Concerns is an interesting word, I said. Let's go with violation. Her smile flickered. I think there may have been a misunderstanding, she said. We were working on narrative voice. I asked students to submit their journals as part of the assignment. You asked them to bring them, I corrected. You did not ask permission to read them aloud. I assumed. I raised my hand. That word, I said. That's the problem. You assume my 9-year-old understood the difference between a writing notebook and a private diary. You assume that because she is a good writer, her deepest feelings were a resource for your lesson plan. You assumed she would be fine being turned into an example in front of her peers. You assumed her parents didn't need to know. Ms. Robbins' cheeks flushed. I made it clear that journaling is about sharing, she said. We talk all the time about vulnerability and bravery. I told them real writers use their own lives in their work. Real writers choose, I said. They choose what to put on the page and they choose what to share. They are not 9-year-olds being put on the spot by the authority figure in the room. Mrs. McKay cleared her throat. Ms. Robbins, she said, did you explicitly tell the students their parents would not be informed? I told them not to go home and make a drama out of it, she said stiffly, because children often exaggerate. I didn't want anyone to misconstrue. That's enough, Mrs. McKay said. There was steel in her voice I hadn't heard before. She turned to me. Mrs. Pierce, I'm so sorry, she said. You are absolutely right. Students' personal writing should never be used without their explicit permission, and certainly not in a way that leads to ridicule. This is not in line with our policies." "Thank you," I said. I wasn't finished. "I want 3 things," I said. 1. A formal apology to my daughter from Ms. Robbins, in writing and in person, acknowledging that what she did was wrong and that Emma did nothing wrong by writing honestly in her diary. 2. An email to all parents in the class clarifying that personal journals will not be collected or shared in this way, ever, and that students are free to keep private diaries at home that the school will not touch. 3. Training for the staff about boundaries around students' personal writing and belongings. Because if this happened once, I worry about what else might be happening under the banner of sharing. Mrs. McKay didn't hesitate. "You will have all 3, she said. Ms. Robbins opened her mouth. "May I say something?" she asked. I looked at her. "You may listen," I said. "You've done enough talking." She closed her mouth. Hit that like button and subscribe if you've ever had to be the dramatic mom to protect your child. That afternoon, Mrs. McKay called me to confirm the timeline. Emma would meet with Miss Robbins and the school counselor the next morning. I could attend if I wanted. I asked Emma. "Do you want me there?" I said. She thought for a long time. "Yes," she said finally. "But I want to talk too, not just you." "Deal," I said. The next day, we sat in a small conference room with 2 bright lights and a box of tissues in the middle of the table. Ms. Robbins looked smaller without her classroom around her. "Emma," she said, "I want to apologize. I shouldn't have read your diary pages out loud without making sure you were comfortable with it. I shouldn't have told you not to talk to your mom. That was wrong. I'm sorry I hurt your feelings." Emma watched her carefully. "That's not all," Emma said. Ms. Robbins blinked. "What do you mean?" she asked. "You also told everyone my feelings were good examples," Emma said. "Like they were homework. They're not homework. They're mine. And when Tyler laughed, you laughed too." Ms. Robbins flinched. I didn't realize." "That you laughed?" Emma asked. "Or that I could see you?" "She is 9 years old." The counselor gently cleared her throat. "Ms. Robbins," she said, "part of apologizing is acknowledging the impact, not just the intent." "I see that now," Ms. Robbins said hoarsely. She turned back to Emma. "You're right. I treated your feelings like an assignment. I laughed at a moment that was very vulnerable for you. That was wrong. I am truly sorry." Emma considered this. "Okay," she said. "I accept your apology." She paused. "But I'm not giving you my diary again." "You don't have to," I said quickly. "No student will be asked to," Mrs. McKay added. On the drive home, Emma stared out the window for a while. "Are you proud of me?" she asked suddenly. "For what?" I said. "For telling her exactly what she did," Emma said. "I was shaking, but I did it." "I'm so proud I don't even have a word for it," I said. That night, after teeth and pajamas and the usual debate over one more chapter, she pulled her diary off the shelf. She turned it over in her hands for a moment. "Do you want me to read anything to you?" she asked. "Only if you want to," I said. "Your inside voice is still yours." She nodded. "I'll read you the boring stuff," she said. "The big feelings can stay in my head for now." "That's fair," I said. She wrote for a long time. Before she turned off the light, she showed me one line. Today I learned that being dramatic just means caring a lot, and saying it out loud, I kissed her forehead. "If that's what dramatic means," I said, "I hope you stay dramatic forever." Did I go too far? Or not far enough? Tell me in the comments. And if this story stayed with you, hit that like button and subscribe. Drop your location below. USA, UK, Canada, Australia. I read every single one.